Hi. Welcome to Luna Listens to Books channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. Now the story begins. As my pregnancy advanced, Kevin's visits dwindled, stood belly large, washing clothes and cooking, also caring for his bedridden 80-year-old mother. One night, severe pain gripped my abdomen, my blood staining the sheets red. Sobbing, I called him, begging him to rush me to the hospital. Instead of concern, his voice hurled insults. "Can't you stop bothering me in the middle of the night? I'm busy." As pain seared through me, making me weak and sweaty, I heard a woman's cooing voice by his side, teasing, "Oh stop, go easy." Before I could react, the line went dead, leaving only a beep beep sound. When I awoke again, I felt no movement from the baby. Turning on my phone, a photo popped up. It was of my husband, embracing his secretary on his desk, caught in a compromising act. After I became pregnant, Kevin's visits grew increasingly rare. I, with my swollen belly, did the laundry and cooked meals, while also caring for his bedridden 80-year-old mother. In the middle of the night, I felt severe pain in my stomach, and my blood stained the sheets red. Crying, I called him, urging him to take me to the hospital immediately. However, from the other end of the phone came his complaint. "Can't you stop bothering me in the middle of the night? I'm busy right now." As pain caused beads of sweat to form on my forehead and my body to weaken, I heard the cooing voice of a woman beside him. "Annoying. Be gentle." Before I could react, my phone was left with only a beep sound. When I woke up again, I could no longer feel the baby moving. I turned on my phone, only to see a photo pop up. In the photo, my husband was embracing his secretary on the desk, engaged in an act that brought shame. In the past, seeing my husband with another woman would have sent me straight to his office to confront the other woman. But now, looking at this photo, I felt no waves of emotion. It was as if my heart, along with my deceased child, had been buried. I slowly placed my hand on my belly, imagining what the child might have looked like, perhaps with my eyes and his father's nose. Not knowing whether it was a boy or a girl, I had even prepared 2 sets of clothes, which now would never be used. I had loved Kevin for a full 10 years and chased after him for 10 years. Hence, on the night he proposed, I cried uncontrollably. I thought we would finally be able to be together, but after the proposal, he ended up drinking sullenly with his brothers in the study. His friend said, "Are you sure you don't want to wait for Michelle to come back and want to marry any woman?" I knew Michelle. She was Kevin's college girlfriend and his eternal beloved, and I was just the any woman his friends spoke of. That day, I stood outside the study for a long time, waiting for Kevin's response. Hoped he would say I wasn't just any woman, that I was the one he loved. But I waited a long time and never got that answer, only hearing the cold words from inside, "Doesn't matter." Since he couldn't be with Michelle, it didn't matter to him who he was going to marry. Guess that was what Kevin meant. "I know you don't care, but Amanda is different from other women. She's chased you for 10 years, and anyone can see she loves you. If you marry her and Michelle comes back, how will you shake her off?" My heart chilled. So even before we were married, Kevin was already thinking about how to get rid of me, and why hands clenched at my sides. Back then, I was young and stubborn, determined to marry him whether he loved me or not. As long as I continued to treat him well, one day he would forget Michelle. Now, thinking back, I was not only naive but also foolish. Trying to win over someone who didn't love you and bind him with marriage was just asking for misery. Kevin never warmed up to me. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't win his heart. I handled the discharge procedures alone, and upon returning home, I found Kevin sitting on the sofa. His first words upon seeing me were a reprimand. "Where have you been today? There's a pile of dirty clothes in the bathroom that haven't been washed." I remained silent. If he had just glanced at my face for a few more seconds, he would have noticed my pale lips. "Still angry about last night? Didn't I tell you I was busy? What are you making a fuss about?" In the past, every time he returned home, I would have the house spotless and dinner ready, hoping he would always feel the warmth of home. But now, I was done being a domestic caretaker. My love for him had eroded too much to sustain my unconditional giving. I took a deep breath, tightened my grip on my fingers, and said, "Kevin, let's call off the engagement." Kevin had proposed to me, but we were neither legally married nor had we held a wedding ceremony. Our relationship was neither publicly known nor legally recognized. I used to constantly nag Kevin to give me a legitimate status, however, his repeated emotional neglect buried those pleas. Eventually, I stopped asking, and we continued for 5 years, unrecognized and unofficial this year. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought he would at least acknowledge our child. But when Michelle returned, the matter was left unresolved. In Kevin's heart, no one was more important than Michelle. When I mentioned calling off the engagement, his face darkened immediately as he snapped, "Amanda, when did you become so petty? Just because I had to work late and couldn't spend time with you, you want to call off the engagement? I work so hard every day, and you can't help me, not even show a little understanding?" Understanding? Hadn't I been understanding enough? During these 5 years of our engagement, I had always taken good care of him, managing all household matters without ever bothering him. He never asked questions he shouldn't have. I even used my father's connections to help expand his business. How much more understanding did he expect from me? Seeing me welling up, Kevin carelessly pulled out a pair of earrings from his pocket and threw them on the coffee table. "Here, take these as compensation for not coming home last night." I stared at the earrings, which didn't even come in a box. Kevin probably didn't know that I had seen Michelle wearing this pair. He was giving me her discarded hand-me-downs. At that moment, my heart completely died. Thinking of my unborn child brought a sudden relief. Perhaps he knew his father was not good to me and didn't want to be born into this unhappy family. Holding back the pain, I grabbed the earrings and threw them at his face. "Kevin, what do you think I am? You're giving me Michelle's discarded trash." Kevin stared at me with wide eyes, yelling, "Amanda, I've been patient with you, don't push your luck." Yes, it was Michelle who stayed with me for overtime last night. So what? She's my secretary, it's normal for her to work late with me. We were pressed for time during the meeting. I hung up your call, and afterwards, she even thoughtfully picked out a gift for me to bring to you. Can't you learn from her instead of being suspicious and acting like a shrew all day at home? Kevin rarely got angry or shouted at me. He preferred to use emotional neglect. His silence was his way of quietly refusing, a tactic he commonly employed. Only when it came to Michelle would he not hold back, never allowing anyone to speak ill of her. "Since you think so highly of Michelle, it would be perfect for me to leave and make room for her, wouldn't it?" Seeing my determination, Kevin kicked the coffee table in frustration. "Are you sure you want to call off the engagement?" I nodded, unwilling to wait another moment. "Amanda, have you forgotten how you once followed me around begging to be with me? What right do you have to talk about calling off the engagement? Besides, you're pregnant with a child. If you leave me, who else would have you?" In Kevin's eyes, was the child in my belly just a burden? How ridiculous. Watching his resolute figure turning away, I crouched half down, crying inconsolably. I'd lived like a joke for 10 years. With a loud noise, the door slammed shut, a reminder from Kevin of his anger. Chasing him for 10 years, together for 5, he had always been like this, always waiting for me to come begging for reconciliation. But not this time. I slowly got up from the floor with the help of the sofa, packed my things in the master bedroom, and left without looking back. Suddenly, a little girl running towards me bumped into my shoulder, stopping me in my tracks. After she steadied herself, she apologized repeatedly. I said it was okay. She bowed deeply to express her apology and then ran into the arms of her boyfriend behind her. The first time I met Kevin, he ran towards me without hesitation. I was in high school then, and on my way home, a group of girls cornered me in the school's small woods. These girls often bullied me, demanding money from my family to give to them. Before meeting Kevin, I endured 2 years of bullying. Then, I met him in those woods. He not only stood up for me against those girls but also reported their behavior to the school board. That was the start of the 10 years I spent pursuing him. From then on, I silently began to follow his steps, enrolling in the same university. Every step I took was shadowed by Kevin. It took me 3 years to go from being an acquaintance to his friend. I watched him change girlfriends one after another in college until he met Michelle, and I knew he was smitten. He was different with Michelle. He would overcome his fear of heights to go bungee jumping with her, and despite the pain eat spicy hot pot that upset his stomach. Later, when Michel went abroad, he fell into a deep melancholy for months, nearly drowning his sorrows in alcohol every day. That was probably the most despondent period of Kevin's life, and never saw him sober. It was after that Kevin proposed to me. At the time, I knew he hadn't forgotten Michel, but I still wanted to take a chance betting I could move him. I bet that one day Kevin would be moved by my affection and fall in love with me. During our 4 years together, aside from not marrying me, Kevin was somewhat considerate and took care of me. Just when I thought I had truly moved him, and he was about to fall in love with me, Michel returned to the country. From her return, Kevin began to disappear frequently, giving me the cold shoulder. Michel's presence made me feel like those 4 years with Kevin were a joke. Since then, I wanted to leave, but fate played another trick. I got pregnant. I felt this child was sent to save my relationship with Kevin, urging me to make one last effort for this relationship. I told Kevin about my pregnancy, hoping he would keep his distance from Michel, but he couldn't. In his eyes, the child was less important than Michel. Whenever Michel called, he would neglect me and the child without a second thought. Even that night when I called him, he didn't ask for the reason. Upon returning home, he just kept blaming me. I lost this 10-year gamble that I had staked my life on. Fortunately, I could still cut my losses in time. After moving out of the house, I temporarily stayed in a hotel close to the hospital because I couldn't find a suitable place to live yet, which would make my follow-up medical checks more convenient. Just after I had registered at the hospital, I ran into Michel. She rushed up to me with a smile greeting me. "Amanda, why are you alone? Didn't Kevin come with you?" I looked at her coldly, knowing she was just showing off, and decided not to pay her any attention. But Michel persisted, following me around until she finally blocked my path, looking slightly irritated. "I'm so sorry, I almost forgot. Kevin came to the hospital with me. How could I ask such a silly question? I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, it's just a mild headache." I told him there was no need to go to the hospital, but Kevin wouldn't listen, was so worried it might get worse that he insisted we come. Michel's tone was clearly boastful as she stood in front of me. I raised an eyebrow and asked, "Are you done? Did I make you angry?" Michel stared at my belly and gently touched it as she said, "Amanda, you shouldn't get upset, otherwise you'll harm the baby in your belly, and Kevin will like you even less." Her words stung, and I abruptly knocked her hand away. Feigning injury, Michel dramatically fell to the ground, and just then, Kevin appeared. He began yelling as soon as he saw me, "Amanda, what are you doing?" Kevin immediately bent down to help Michel up. Her eyes were red, making it look as if I had bullied her. "Kevin, don't blame her. I'm sure Amanda didn't mean to push me over. You don't need to say anything." Kevin comforted her softly. "I saw everything, you've been wronged." Watching them being openly affectionate in front of me made me feel nauseous. "Amanda, what are you doing here, running away from home while spying on me? Do you think those little tricks will make me come to you and apologize? Now that you're a mother yet you commit such outrageous acts. If I hadn't arrived just in time today, would it have been more than just pushing Michel? I feel sorry for my child to have a jealous mother like you." I clenched my fists. A jealous mother like me, how ridiculous. The child inside me was long gone. Even now, Kevin thought I was jealous of Michel. "Spying on you? I don't give a damn about you. I don't even want to see your face. Why would I care about a jerk like you, you piece of filth? How dare you?" Before he could finish what he wanted to say, I turned to leave. Just as I took a few steps, Kevin grabbed my wrist. "Did I say you could leave? Apologize to Michel. Apologize to her, wishful thinking." I had barely exerted any force when I removed Michel's hand from my stomach earlier. There was no way she could have fallen. She must have fallen on purpose when she saw Kevin approaching. Since she liked to play the victim, I was game. I walked straight up to Michel and pushed her to the ground with all my might. "You were too far away to see clearly before, but did you see it now?" I pushed her. Kevin looked shocked and, after a moment, slapped me across the face. My body hadn't fully recovered since the miscarriage, and Kevin had used all his strength, staggered and tried to reach for the wall but collapsed to the ground before I could steady myself. A streak of bright red soaked through my pants. Kevin, seeing the blood flow increasing, yelled loudly, "Doctor, quick, there's a pregnant woman bleeding here." Soon, a swarm of doctors rushed over. "Doctor, please save the child." The lead doctor was actually the same one who treated my miscarriage. She looked at Kevin, puzzled. "And you are?" "I'm the father of the child." "Didn't Miss Morgan tell you? She had a miscarriage a few days ago." Kevin staggered back, his eyes instantly reddening, and he stammered, "Miscarriage?" The doctor nodded, looking at Kevin's reaction with some confusion. "You didn't know until now, did you? The night Miss Morgan brought you in, you were covered in blood and almost didn't make it." Kevin widened his eyes, unsure if he was able to discern the truth of that statement. The doctor looked at him, and even the dumbest person could probably guess what had happened. He quickly pushed me to the emergency room and then to the office after stopping the bleeding. As soon as we entered the office, I saw Kevin sitting in a chair, half leaning his head, and he suddenly looked up at the sound. "Amanda, when did we lose our child? Why didn't you tell me at that time? Why?" I looked at his bloodshot eyes and couldn't help but remember that night of miscarriage. I trembled in pain, clutching the doctor's clothes tightly, begging them to save my child, but when I left the operating room, I felt it. The child I desperately tried to keep had ultimately left. I looked at Kevin coldly, no longer holding any expectations for him. "I told you." "When did you tell me?" Kevin's voice grew smaller and smaller, as if he was recalling what had happened that night. "I called you many times. After finally getting through, I didn't even have a chance to say a few words before you hung up on me. Afterwards, you thoughtfully gave me a pair of earrings as compensation. Have you forgotten?" "Kevin, when I was lying on the operating table, I kept calling out, 'If you had been faster, just a little faster, could our child have been saved?' Unfortunately, there are no ifs in this world." "No, it's not like that." Kevin tried to explain but choked up and couldn't say another word. "Not like that?" I asked back. He nodded his head. At that time, I really had an urgent matter. Of course he had an urgent matter, busy enjoying himself with Michelle. How could he have time for me? Even now, Kevin is still trying to justify himself. What kind of urgent matter is so pressing that you don't even have a few minutes for a conversation? Kevin fell silent. Some things are better off known in one's heart because getting an answer may not necessarily bring comfort. Let it go, it's all in the past. I said with a heart as lifeless as ashes. Kevin stepped forward and hugged me. "Amanda, it's okay, we'll have children in the future." "In the future?" I chuckled lightly. "Kevin, we haven't had a future for a long time." He paused for a moment while holding my hand, then slowly let go and stared into my eyes without looking away. "No, Amanda, we still have plenty of future together." In the past, I fantasized about having a lot of future with Kevin, but now, I dare not indulge in such fantasies anymore. Michelle standing by couldn't bear it any longer. "Amanda, what do you mean? You miscarried because you couldn't protect this child yourself. What does it have to do with us?" As she spoke, she prepared to pull Kevin away. "Look at her pretending to be pitiful for whom, blaming all the faults on you while being hypocritical. If she doesn't want to give birth to you, then forget it. I can give birth to you in the future." Michelle's remarks almost made me burst out laughing. She could actually say such explosive words in public. Kevin also froze for a few minutes before pushing Michelle's hand away. This was the first time I saw Kevin refuse Michelle in front of me. "Get lost, who the fuck wants to have children with you? This is something between us as a couple, what right do you have to interfere?" Upon hearing Kevin yell at her, Michelle nearly collapsed. "An outsider, I followed you when I went abroad and all I get is being called an outsider?" Michelle lowered her gaze, crying in a disheveled state, and finally ran out of the office. Throughout, Kevin didn't look at her again. I suddenly couldn't understand Kevin anymore and turned my head to look at him. "Michelle left, why are you still here?" "What did you say?" Kevin was somewhat flustered by my sudden suggestion for him to leave. Aren't you going after her? With a definite answer, he shook his head. Amanda, you used to get angry every time I said I wanted to find Michelle. What's different about you today? Nothing, I replied casually. I always thought Kevin was a straightforward guy and that he didn't understand whenever got angry because of Michelle. Now it seems that he has always known why I'm angry, but he takes advantage of the fact that I like him and hurts me without any consideration. I no longer restrict you. From now on you can be with whoever you want, even if you want Michelle to have your child, I won't say a word. I don't believe you, you love me so much, how could you tolerate me having a child with someone else? That was in the past. My repeated denials made Kevin anxious. Amanda, I will make you realize that besides me, you have no other choice. After saying that, Kevin ran out directly. The doctor looked at me and said, now I can prescribe medication. Nodded, feeling somewhat embarrassed for taking up her office for so long. It's already prepared. Go and get the medication first, and when you come back, I'll tell you how to use it. Thank you, doctor. Miss Morgan, your own health is most important for a girl. You need to learn to love yourself first before loving others. Your husband doesn't seem like a good match for you. Although these words may be unnecessary, I still want to remind you. Thank you for your reminder, Dr. Rutherford. I know that he and I haven't gotten married yet, but it's already over. Today's events must have been embarrassing for you. After leaving the office, I picked up the medication and went directly back to the hotel after asking about its usage. When I wanted to be with Kevin initially, my parents didn't agree. He proposed to me very suddenly, and my parents could tell that he didn't love me that much. But at that time, I couldn't listen to anything else, and my heart was still immersed in the joy of Kevin proposing to me. Now looking back, how foolish I was. I stared at my phone for a long time before finally deciding to call my mom. After a while, she answered the call. Summoning up courage, I told her about breaking up with Kevin. My mom's first reaction wasn't blame but consolation. It's okay, when we're young we all make wrong choices, it's never too late to turn back. Amanda, come home, your dad and I are waiting for you. When my mom asked me to come home, tears welled up in my eyes uncontrollably. Mom, I'm sorry, if it weren't for my stubbornness back then things wouldn't have turned out like this. Silly child, your dad and I have never blamed you. I cried uncontrollably as my mom continued to comfort me. Later on, she even got my dad involved, called me silly but still cared enough to ask me to come back. I said okay and packed my clothes to check out of the hotel and go home. This time, when we part ways, I don't plan on seeing Kevin again. I didn't expect him to come to my house. While I was jogging in the morning, he suddenly stopped me. Amanda, I've been looking for you. He didn't look well. His eye bags were heavy and his hair was somewhat messy as if he hadn't slept for days and nights. I looked at him coldly. What do you want from me? I left, and now he should be with Michelle, as he should be. I miss you, I really miss you. Since you left, every time I come home, I see your shadow everywhere. I can't eat or sleep well. When I close my eyes, it's you. When I open my eyes, it's still you. Now I realize how much I love you. Amanda, please come back. I can't live without you, Kevin cried as he spoke, trying to soften my heart with his tears. You never wanted to marry me, I'll marry you. Just come back, whatever you want, just ask, and I'll fulfill your every wish. Just beg you not to leave me again. Looking at him with red and teary eyes, I couldn't help but find it amusing. I chased after him for 10 years, loved him for 10 years, and we were together for 5 years, and now he finally says he loves me. It's truly too late. Kevin, you don't really love me. Even if a dog accompanies you for 10 years, you'll get used to it, not to mention a person. You're just not used to me suddenly leaving. No, at first, I thought it was just getting used to it, but then I realized it wasn't. I really fell in love with you. Fell in love with me? If Kevin had said he loved me on any day during these 10 years, I would have been unable to sleep from joy. But now, all I feel is trouble, a trouble that won't go away. His love even makes me feel repulsed. But I don't love you anymore, I've already made it clear to you. We're breaking off the engagement. I wish you and Michelle 100 years of happiness together, and please don't bother me anymore. Kevin shook his head vigorously. No, I don't want Michelle, I only want you. I know I was wrong before, I'm sorry, from now on, I will make it up to you. Make it up? How many 10-year periods does a girl have? Kevin's words sound light, as if a simple apology can make up for everything he has done. How many times did he abandon me since Michelle came back? How many times did he use emotional manipulation? Too many times for me to count on both hands. For all these years, he treated me like a free live-in housekeeper. Where does the love come from? Kevin, I've made myself clear, I don't want things between us to get ugly. It's been 10 years, let's part ways amicably. I disagree, Amanda, I don't want to be separated from you. I will prove to you that I love you and make you change your mind. Kevin left, and I ran back home. These past few days, I've been looking for a job from home and have found several decent companies. I plan to move out of my parents' house so that Kevin won't disturb them when he comes. Just when I thought my life was about to get back on track, the HR department of the company suddenly approached me and said that there is a woman causing a scene every day outside the company, calling me a homewrecker. The commotion even reached the front desk on the ground floor. I don't need to guess who it is, without a doubt, it's her. After apologizing briefly, I immediately went downstairs to handle the situation. As soon as I reached the ground floor, I saw Michelle standing at the entrance. Amanda, you finally agreed to see me. She said it as if I had been avoiding her. I avoided Kevin because he kept bothering me, but why should I avoid her? Have you had enough of causing trouble? Amanda.do, you have no shame. Who is causing all this commotion? Kevin clearly promised to marry me, but now he's changed his mind, that he loves you and wants to break up with me. It's ridiculous. He clearly loved me so much, it must be because of something you said that he changed his mind. I warn you, Kevin loves me, not you. I advise you to pack your things and leave immediately, otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. If you're so sure that Kevin loves you, then why are you here looking for me? You. Michelle was furious. After a moment of silence, she suddenly thought of something and smiled. Amanda, aren't you curious about what Kevin and I were doing on the night you had a miscarriage? She took out her phone and played a video. In the video, Kevin was embracing a naked Michelle, pressing her against a desk. Do you know how many sweet words Kevin whispered in my ear that night? He couldn't resist for even a moment and had me right there in the office. I knew that their encounter that night wasn't just work-related. But Michelle presented the evidence to me, the sounds of their breaths, their passionate expressions, and it deeply wounded my eyes. Isn't it exciting? Do you like it? If you do, I have plenty more. Michelle's voice carried a taunt. I knew she was deliberately provoking me, but she was mistaken about one thing. I no longer love Kevin now, even if he sleeps with her every day, I don't care, but I don't intend to let her provocation slide so easily. I walked up to her and slapped her hard. Michelle, I'm not putting up with you because I still love Kevin. As long as you don't prance around in front of me, do whatever you want. This slap is a reminder for you not to disturb my life again. You dare to hit me, you bitch? I ignored Michelle's curses and went straight to the elevator. Michelle didn't have an access card, so she couldn't enter and could only stand outside the door. Shortly after Michelle left, Kevin arrived, said he had dealt with Michelle, she wouldn't bother me anymore. I looked at Kevin, he seemed expectant, waiting for my response. Get lost, I've already told you I won't be with you anymore. Can't you understand? How many times did you sleep with Michelle? Do I need to remind you, or do I need to show you videos of your lovemaking? Kevin, you're despicable. You're not only physically dirty but also morally filthy. As Kevin listened to my words, his face turned pale. Did Michelle say something to you? Don't listen to her nonsense, she's gone mad now. Those things are all fake, none of it is real. At this point, all the evidence was right in front of us, yet Kevin was still deceiving me, he was still trying to argue. Aren't you tired of pretending, Kevin? I stared at him quietly, my emotions like stagnant water in my eyes. Kevin, ever since you rescued me from the bully, I fell in love with you at first sight, and these 10 years, everything in my eyes and heart revolved around you. My whole life revolved around you, loved you so much that I almost lost myself. When you proposed to me back then, even without getting married officially, I spent over 4 years with you, kept telling myself that it didn't matter as long as I persisted, Kevin would eventually see how good I am. But what about you? How did you respond to me? You deceived me time and time again and hurt me recklessly with your emotional abuse. Kevin shook his head. No, it's not true, Amanda. I really know I was wrong. Please don't leave me. I laughed. Kevin, I used to think that you loved Michelle to the core of your being, but now I realize that I was wrong. You don't actually love anyone. You enjoy my efforts while entangling yourself with your ex-lover. In the end, it's just your unwillingness for Michelle to leave you in the past and unwillingness for me to leave now. From beginning to end, the only person Vivi loved is Vorselful. I placed the things Michelle showed me in front of him. Kevin retreated in fear. These videos are all fake. She must have manipulated them. Don't you know what you did yourself? Kevin's voice grew desperate towards the end. Looking at his insane appearance, all I felt was that he deserved this suffering. Kevin, leave now and never come find me again, because every time I see you, it disgusts me. I didn't know when Kevin left. I quit my job again. I planned to start a new life in another city. Before leaving, my parents wanted to persuade me to stay because they were worried about me being alone outside. I reassured them because leaving was my way of seeking a fresh start. I didn't want to keep living in memories. People always have to look forward. On the night before my departure, I received a text message from Kevin. He said, Amanda, no matter what I say or do now, it can never make up for the harm I caused you before. I know I was wrong now. I don't expect your forgiveness anymore. I hope for your happiness for the rest of your life. After reading it, I immediately deleted the message and blocked Kevin's number. Some scars may not be visible, but that doesn't mean they can heal, and he truly isn't worth forgiving. Perhaps Kevin and I were a mistake from the very beginning, a mistake that lasted 10 years too long. I turned off the lights and prepared to sleep. Tomorrow, I would embark on a brand new life. Today's story is over. Thank you all for listening.